The latest inflation data has been released, and it is showing that prices are not rising nearly as rapidly as they once were, but recently we've had 4 major events take place that we may see a massive spike to inflation going forward, and that's what I want to share with you here in this video. Be prepared, this is likely going to happen over the coming months. Let's get into it and talk through the details. First off, can I ask a huge favor of you? Please make sure to like the video with the big thumbs up button right down below. Also, if you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. Again, big subscribe button right down below. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your support, and let's get into it and talk about it. All right. Now, earlier today, we got the all-important inflation data for the previous month, and yet again, it shows easing inflation. Now, this simply shows that prices are not rising as rapidly as they once were. There's a lot of misconceptions about these inflation data points that come out. A lot of people come out and say, look, prices have come down so much. And I continue to come back and say, no, they haven't. Prices have not budged one bit, but rather what we're seeing is that prices are not rising as rapidly as they once were, making it give the illusion that prices are coming down. No, there's no clearance section everywhere in the stores that we go to. That is not the case. There's not a bargain out there. Prices are not cheap. Prices have not come down. I think we all recognize this, right? Don't be fooled. We know better than that. And again, I know, you know all of this stuff. I mean, we're all here together, right? We know better than to think that these prices have come down. Maybe on a few select items, prices have come down a little bit, but for the most part, no. Prices have gone up and they've stayed up. They have been defying the rules of gravity. What goes up must come down? Yeah, except for prices. They didn't tell you that part, right? That's the only exception to the rule of gravity, pricing. Anyway, so what they do is they look at inflation on a month-over-month basis and a year-over-year basis. So here's what they found. On a month-over-month basis, inflation is just up 0.2%. Now, okay, annualized, that's 2.4%. Okay, that's, a little hotter than you would think. Because the Federal Reserve generally wants inflation to be right around 2%, but that's exactly what it is, okay? So it's 2.4% on a 12-month period of time, right? So basically what they do is they look back over the last 1 year of time, and they say, oh, look, it's up 2.4% over the last 1 year. Now, this is still above the Federal Reserve's benchmark of 2% and the goal, but more on that in just a second. But either way, yes, it's basically just showing that prices are, not rising very rapidly anymore, like what we were seeing a couple years ago, and realistically the last few years here. So much for being transitory, right? Remember that? What a joke. They told us like 3 years ago, yeah, don't worry, this is just transitory. It'll go away super fast. Here we are 3 years later, and we're still dealing with this. Yeah, that's not super fast, not for most people. But anyway, so this is the situation we're dealing with. Now, let me break out 4 major events that have taken place recently, and this could easily spike inflation going forward, okay? I'm just going to break these down one by one here and kind of give you a brief synopsis of why this may spike inflation. Remember, inflation is a broad look at many different sectors across the whole economy and kind of taking averages of pricing, putting it all together in a basket, and kind of averaging it out and saying, look, inflation is this much, right? Okay, so anyway, here's event number 1. Remember, back in the middle portion of September, the Federal Reserve cut interest rates by 50 basis points, okay? A lot of people are coming out saying, yeah, that was pretty obvious why they cut interest rates, before what's going on in early November. Their next meeting is right, by the way, in early November as well. But, they're basically, a lot of people are suggesting, hey, the Federal Reserve blew it. They should not have cut interest rates by 50 basis points. They did this for one reason and one reason only, okay? Again, we can all kind of deduct what I'm referring to. That's just what people are suggesting. Now, a lot of people are saying that the Federal Reserve blew it. They shouldn't have done that, and they should not have cut interest rates. So that's number 1. If they cut interest rates too prematurely, like too soon here, we could see inflation ticking back up. Now, event number 2. Hurricane Helene, a couple weeks ago, we saw this Hurricane Helene go through the south there and just devastate massive areas. Now, how could this cause inflation? Well, a couple different reasons. One of the different metrics within the inflation numbers is insurance. Do you think this is going to have an impact on insurance premiums in southern states? 100%, right? Do you think premiums are going up, down, or staying the same? 100% going up. Insurance premiums are 100% going up as a result of these types of disasters. Super sad situation, by the way, okay? I'm definitely not trying to minimize what happened here. Super sad situation. I mean, it is like really, really a sad situation, right? Anytime something like this happens, like, man, you just feel for the people. I mean, I wish we could all do a whole lot more than this, but yeah, so that is situation number one. Next, the port strike. Okay, this is a thing. Remember, East Coast ports and the Gulf Coast, kind of hard to say, Gulf Coast ports closed down for 3 days. It was not very long. It was only 3 days, but guess what? I was reading some information on this. This was actually very fascinating. They said for every 1 day that they were closed down, it would take about 1 week to get them back to operation. So, because they were closed down for 3 days, it was going to take them 3 weeks to get back to basically where they were, to catch up. That's nuts. 1 day equals 1 week of catch-up time, okay? So this could cause a little bit of supply issues, and it could cause some inflationary issues because, yes, it was only 3 days, but it's still kind of inflationary because of that, especially with some of the different situations that have been going on, again, with the hurricanes in the south and stuff like that, slowing this all down, disrupting flow of goods and services. It's kind of this, kind of a tough situation here, okay? So that's situation number 3. Now, situation number 4. Hurricane Milton, okay? Again, another really, really, really sad situation. This whole thing just happened like literally just, a day ago or something like that. Very, very soon or very recently here within the last, 24, 48 hours or so, this whole Hurricane Milton. But super bad situation there. Based on what I've been reading about this, they don't even really know the extent of the damage yet. They're still surveying all of it because it's, still so early on with this situation. But again, do you think that this is going to impact insurance premiums again in Florida, that this just devastated? 100% it will, okay? So not only is this going to increase insurance premiums across a bunch of southern states from Hurricane Helene and the port strike and Hurricane Milton, in Florida, it's just a mess, right? It's just, and a lot of other things as well. What are all of these individuals who are trying to rebuild their lives and kind of get back into, our normal lifestyle and trying to just, trying to live again and just, get through this whole situation? This is going to cause a lot more demand. A lot of goods and services and things like this will also be needed, right? So this is, potentially an inflationary situation, and that's okay. When it comes down to these types of natural disasters and people are having their lives uprooted like this and super sad situations, if we have to deal with a little bit of inflation because of it, it's okay. Here's the thing. Our livelihoods are way more important than that, right? So just want to throw that out there really quickly. So these are some of the situations that have played out recently that are likely going to lead toward these inflation numbers ticking up here, okay? Now, obviously, September, we didn't see any of this. Now, this inflation number that was released earlier today was the inflation number for September. Basically, the only thing that happened in September was the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates by 50 basis points. We've seen 3 other major situations here happen basically in October, the majority of which in October, right? We don't have October's inflation data yet. That'll be released in another month in mid-November. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there as we start to see all of these major events here kind of coming in and coming into fruition here in October. Make sense? Anyway, I hope this helps you. Please make sure to like the video down below. Totally free to do so. Big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel as well. Again, subscribe button down below. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your support. Otherwise, check out the other videos here on the channel. 5,000 videos in the video library. The ones I've hand selected for you down below in the description at the top of the comment section. And right now showing up on your screen, you'll see some videos there. Check those out. Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate you. I just want to do whatever I can to help you out through this time. Such a tough time out there. So many things going on right now. Please enjoy your day. Take care and stay safe. I'm thinking about all of you, seriously.